So today is basically just an excuse for me to hold up my physical books and make it seem like I had a reason to buy these books, but I really didn't. So, hi, my name is Danielle. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the popular books on BookTok that I loved. So, none of the ones I disliked, so no negative comments about these books. I mean, if you hated them, tell me about how much you hated them. And if you loved them, I love you. So I'm gonna start with my favorite. This is not gonna really go in order, but I'm just gonna start with the strongest, the best. The book that quite literally changed how I view reading as a whole is none other than Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. The Addicted series has quite literally changed my life and changed my perspective on reading. Like, I got into reading for real. Like, I really got obsessed with it after reading this series. So if you don't know anything about this series, this book follows Lily and Lo. So they are childhood best friends and they're in college at the start of this book, and basically they're keeping this secret from their families, and they have been pretend dating for like a few years now because they both have addictions that they're not telling their families. So Lo is an alcoholic and Lily, our main character, is a sex addict. They kind of, use each other to hide their addiction. So they're like, we're gonna pretend date, and Lily, you're gonna do your thing, you're gonna hook up with as many guys as you want, and Lo, you're gonna do your thing, and you're gonna drink till you're dead. So basically that's the plot of the book, and it follows these two, and it's a 10-book series. And I know you probably like, 10 books, what the heck, what could possibly be in these 10 books? Crack. It's crack. And it doesn't just follow them. You get Lily has two sisters, so you get books about them. And then it's like this whole big found family trope. And trust me, by the end of this series, when you finish that last book, you're like, what the hell? And I was in shambles. This series, it's great. It's great. That's all I can say, is that it's great. It's fantastic. I'm not even gonna talk about it. So these next books are also a part of a series. It's continuing at the moment. Finding and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. So we have Binding 13. So this book, it's pretty thick and the font is like minuscule. Trust me, it's intimidating, but it is phenomenal. Literally, if you love One Tree Hill, that's what I'm gonna say. If you love One Tree Hill, the TV show, I think you love this series. It's gives that like teen rom-com early 2000s like TV show that you just binge and you just love it. I mean, not like rom-com, because this is like really serious and has a lot of serious topics, but in the sense like where it's kind of like a show with no plot, but like you just are obsessed with it. Basically, it follows our main character Shannon and the boy character Johnny. So they're both in high school at the time. Shannon has a really bad family background. It's like very abusive, and it's like a very bad household, and she has a lot of siblings, and like they all have their own issues, and like Shannon's dealing with a lot of issues, and she was bullied in her last school. So then she transfers over to the school where Johnny is, and they have a run-in with each other, and they meet for the first day, and things kind of blossom from there. It's just like that classic like popper boy, shy girl. Like, it's that classic trope, but it's done so well. Like, if you love Nathan and Haley from One Tree Hill, you will love Johnny and Shannon. Both of these books follow Johnny and Shannon, and then the next two, Saving Six and Redeeming Six, follow two other characters in the book, and then Chloe Walsh is continuing to make more books following the other characters that you meet in these books. It's like a same vibe with the Addicted series. You get found family, all that jazz. It's great. Please read it. I'll be talking about, my girl, Lauren Asher. So I have the Dreamland Billionaire series, but basically these books follow these three brothers, and as you can tell, they're billionaires. From grandfather is giving them an inheritance, and in these letters that the grandfather wrote to them, he's like has all these expectations for them, and he's like, here's what you need to do to get your inheritance. So Rowan, the first guy, he has to own and run Dreamland. Declan has to get married and produce an heir. Random request. And Cal has to go back to this like childhood home thing and sell this house where like his ex-girlfriend lives and like reconnect with her. So that's a thing. And yeah, there's like a lot more to this one that's like in other ones. It's like very deep, but I enjoyed all the books in this series. Oh, the next book is also part of a series. So that is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. This is the first book in the Devil's Night series. This is a dark romance series, so just get prepared, you know, don't go into this expecting like a contemporary, like sweet little romance. When it comes to Penelope Douglas, they're not really the big fan of their writing. I love their books. This book was a mess. This series was a mess in itself. It's the biggest mess I've ever read in my life, but it was the most entertaining mess I've ever read in my life. It follows these four guys and they call themselves the Horsemen. Don't even talk about it. So basically they do this thing like where every October 30th, so the day before Halloween, they have this thing called Devil's Night and they like go around and they like pull pranks and they like, they don't necessarily terrorize people. They're children. They pull pranks and stuff. They did it like all throughout high school. And so something happens this one night and they come back and they do Devil's Night. And our main character, Rika, is like, when she's like 16, she like rolls with them during Devil's Night because she's always thought that they were so cool. She like tags along. She gets a chance to tag along, so she does it. And they're having a great night. Something goes wrong and they get put in jail. And some years later, I don't know if it's like 5 years later or something, they come back and they're like, we want revenge. So they're going after my girl Rika. And that's really all I can say, is that this is basically a revenge plot book. And there's just way more to it. I will say that this plot was just so intriguing. I could not put these books down. I don't even want to say the word because I keep saying it, but I ate these books up. And the more you read, it's so good. So that's all I can say. The book is also part of a series, but it's another interconnected standalone. This is Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. I really love this book. I think a lot of people love this book. It's probably my favorite Devney Perry book. It's very good. So basically this is a single parent, another grumpy sunshine, small town. It's like a little bit of a romantic suspense up in there. It's really good. A lot of Devney Perry's books just feel like cozy, like just it's cozy and like it's short, it's not that long, but you still get attached to the characters. It still was a great romance that was built up, and it's still to this day, I think, one of Devney Perry's best written books. But this one is Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. So I'm actually not the biggest Anna Huang stan. I didn't care for Twisted Love. Unpopular opinion, I hated Twisted Games. That book was so boring to me. Like, it was so boring. The characters were boring. I wanted to give Twisted Lies a chance because when it came out, everybody was talking about it, and I saw that it was fake dating trope, and I really love fake dating and, you know, the fake dating grumpy sunshine. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So this one follows Stella and Christian. They kind of appear in the earlier Twisted books, if you like read the series. So basically Stella is like, she's kind of like an influencer. Like, she's kind of like a blogger. I don't know what she does. Like, he got like some shady things going on. Like, I don't know if he's like really like a mafia man. Like, this isn't really like a mafia romance, but he does do things on the side, if you know what I mean. So he's kind of like, he's given very much like morally gray. He's giving that. So that's Christian. It was so good, and it was slow burn. I know a lot of people have an issue with slow burn. If you don't mind slow burn, I say give this book a chance. I love a good slow burn, especially like when you give us little crumbs and you make us wait, like you make us want the wait. I actually live for the wait. I'm gonna move on to some of my favorite standalone is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews about this book. People either love it or people either hate it. I loved it. This was a chaotic mess, but it sure was entertaining. So this is a small town romance, grumpy sunshine, kind of like a single parent thing going on because her twin steals her money, leaves her stranded, and then leaves her daughter. So now she has to take care of her niece, and everyone in the town hates her sister. So they're all like, yo, we hate you. But she's like, bro, I just got her face. Like, I'm not her. And it's a lot of stuff like that. And the main character, Knox, hates her as well. don't mind like not taking books too seriously, I think you'll have a good time. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So stop it before you even come for me. I know everything. I know this is a fanfic. Okay, I know this is a regular fanfic. And I know everybody and their mom was eating this book up in 2020. And so was I. It was just cute. Like, it's just so cute. Like, it's fake dating. It's like a boss employee. They're like both scientists. So they're both like weird and quirky. It was a comfort. Like, it was just comfortable. It was like a blanket of comfort. I liked it a lot. So you know what? Hate me, judge me. I don't care. I loved it. I just realized I'm not explaining what any of these books are about. Like, I don't think I'm doing a good job at explaining what any of these books are about. So, I mean, is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, another book that's constantly talked about. I also heard that the movie is coming out soon. So a lot of movies are coming out soon for these books, I just realized. Actually, not that many. I loved this book. And when I tell you I fell in love, I tabbed it up. I annotated, I tabbed and annotated. I cried. Like, I cried. The book follows Evelyn Hugo, obviously. And it basically just tells her life. Like, it just shares her story. Starts off, she's like really, really old now. I think she's like, what is she, like 80s or 90s or 70s? I don't know. She's like really old, and she tells this reporter, and she's like, I want to share my story. Like, I want to tell my story and have like a book written about me. So before I die, like, I'm going to tell you my story. And basically it goes back in time, and we see her grow up, and we just learn her whole story, and we get old Hollywood. It's just, oh, it's great. And these next two books are, I love these books so much. I love this author so much. And that is Miss Emily Henry. Emily Henry has become my, like, one of my favorite authors after reading these books. We have Gus and January, and they're kind of, I wouldn't say it's enemies to lovers. I would say more kind of like rivals, because in college they're both writers, and they're kind of opposite writers, and they're kind of a little bit of rivals in college. She is like writing her new book, and she just wants like some solidarity, some alone time. So she goes to her father's beach house to like get some alone time to write. And guess who's living in the beach house next door? Mr. Gus. Yep. So that whole situation is going on. She's now next door to her rival, and she writes romance, he writes like science fiction stuff. Both having writer's block right now. Like, let's challenge each other, let's swap genres. So like, she takes him on like cute little dates and things to like teach him how to like write romance, but takes her to like this crap with like these cults and stuff. It's so good. It's just like so deep. I think what I love about Emily Henry is I love the way she writes like dialogue. I love the way she writes dialogue between two characters. Like, it feels like two people really talking and really having a conversation. I think my favorite book by her is People We Meet on Vacation, which is very unpopular opinion because a lot of people, this is people's least favorite book by her. And I don't know, I love this book by her. But this book follows Poppy and Alex, and they were college friends. Yeah, this is a friends to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes. I know, unpopular opinion, but I really love a good friends to lovers. It's just chef's kiss. It will be enemies to lovers for me any day if done like well. They go on like this another vacation together, and they're kind of like rekindling, and you get a lot of like, this book goes like back and forth chapters, so you get like when they met, and then leading up to like what happened and why they don't talk. And just can't even talk about the things that can make this book bad, because it was just so good to me. And also, I think why I love this one so much and loved it more than Beach Read is because this one was even more of like just conversation. And I think that's why people didn't like it, because there wasn't a lot happening. Like, even though they went on these vacations and you would have thought there would have been more happening in this book than in Beach Read, this one was more like conversations between them, more just like seeing how they interact with each other. But I loved that. Like, I loved seeing that, because I feel like with a true friends and lovers, like, I need to know how they interact. Like, I need to know how they work as friends and how it can transfer into relationships. So I loved it. I did. You know, to pull out a cult classic that would be a little bit of a giggle, you know, something a little bit less serious, you know, than everything else I was talking about. And that's Twilight. Good old Twilight. I actually recently read this series, like not recently, but like at the start of COVID, because, you know, I just wanted to read like a popular book series because I was getting back into reading, and I was like, you know what would just say your reader? I honestly would do it all over again. I'm happy I own these books because they're just fun. Like, it's just like, you don't take it seriously. Like it's like Wattpad, like low-key worse, but it's fun. There is no way if you have a brain in your head that you read this book and you came out of it and said, I am Team Jacob. Like, are you kidding me? You read it if you have no time in your hands. It's like a rainy day. You have nothing else to do, like nothing. You cannot have anything else to do. You have nothing else to do. It's a rainy, gloomy day. Your phone is just dead. Pick up Twilight. If you're going to the Eras tour, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, come back for more. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for staying, and bye bye. My earring fell again. Jesus.